Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 155 of What Does This Button Do? It's an educational show about smartphones and tablets with us, Geeks on Tour. Today's beginner's lesson is about apps and uninstalling, installing, and organizing, but Chris has a quick tip. What do you have there, Chris?
Well, it's along the same lines. It has to do with apps, and it's called offloading apps. It only applies to iPhone. At least I haven't found a way to do it on Android. What it is a way to save space. If your phone is getting full and you want to eliminate some of the space taken up by apps, but it's not uninstalling it. Offloading means keeping the app's data and the app's icon on your screen. It frees up some space, and it's just one click to reinstall. And there is an automatic setting for it. Whereas if you uninstall or delete, it removes everything about the app, and it must be reinstalled from scratch. And rather than a live demo, we're going to show you one of our tutorial videos.
Hi, this is Chris Gold with Geeks on Tour, and this video is about how to get more storage space available on your iPhone by using a feature called Offload Apps. First, let me show you what I'm talking about. My phone is getting pretty full. If you go into Settings and General and iPhone Storage, that's where it tells you how much space you have. I am using 26 gigabytes out of 32, so I still have 6. It's okay right now. Notice that my photos, the gold color, are not the problem. They may be with you, and there's other ways to deal with that. In my case, it's the red. That's apps. I have a lot of apps. And 10 gigabytes are in the system. There's nothing I can do about that. I could go through and uninstall apps, but that's such a hard thing to do. Check out this setting. Under Apps, iTunes and App Store, offload unused apps. Now, I even have that turned on, and I'm getting full, so I think I need a new phone. But if you don't have that turned on, it can give you a lot of space. Automatically remove unused apps, but keep all documents and data. Reinstalling the app will place back your data if the app is still available in the App Store. Let me show you how it works. It works automatically. It just finds apps that you haven't used in a while, and it offloads them. It doesn't uninstall. Look at this one called Layout. It says, I rarely use that, if ever, and now it has a little cloud on it. That means that I have that app, but it has been removed from the phone. If I want to use it and I tap it, it's just like it was there, but it's going to take a minute to download the app again, and it will come back with all your settings. So that is what is meant by offloading apps to free up space on an iPhone.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that really is a cool feature because it looks like your apps are still there, but they're not taking up the space unless you tap on them to use them.
Cool. That's us. Hey, everyone. I'm Jim, and here together with my wife, Chris, we are Geeks on Tour. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about your iPhone or your iPad or your Android? And how do you learn about these amazing devices?
The best way to learn is to teach. So that's how we do it. We think the best way to learn is in bite-sized pieces on a regular basis. So that's why we came up with this weekly show, picking a different topic each week. And we try to make sure to not forget beginners. So we are getting back to basics with this show today.
And where are we now, Chris?
We're home.
It's nice being home,
We're
isn't it?
home. I love traveling. I love RVing all over this country. But we did kind of wear ourselves out a little bit this summer.
Yeah, we did a lot of traveling. We have maps about all this stuff on our blog too.
Mhm.
Check it out, geeksontour.blogspot.com.
And we came home to a beautiful full moon out on the beach.
It was gorgeous.
Wow, it was.
Okay, our beginner's lesson is smartphone apps and why you need them, how to install, uninstall, and organize them. We've done this before, past episodes, number 14 years ago and number 45 still a while ago. And check those out if you can.
I looked it up. Those were like 3 and 4 years ago.
We've been doing this
that
a
we
long
did
time.
this topic, and a lot of the stuff is still valid. I looked through it, but it just seemed time to revisit it. We don't want to keep talking about subjects that get more and more advanced. We need to be for beginners. So, apps, why you need them. Sometimes at our rallies, when we meet people who are new users of smartphones, we realize that they have never installed an app. And why? Well, why do they need one? The phone comes with everything you need.
Well, yeah, pretty much. But if you want something more, that's where the App Store comes in, or the Play Store.
And a lot of apps that come with the phone, in our opinion, are not the best for what they do. For example, iPhones are wonderful phones, but I personally do not like using the Apple apps that come with it. I want the Google app. So you need to know how to install. So where do you get them? On the Apple, iPhone, iPad, it's called the App Store. And you will need to know your Apple password for your Apple ID at least the first time. And we will show you how to change the settings so that you don't need it all the time. On the Android, it's called the Play Store. And same thing, you need to have set up a Google account. You need to know that user email and password at least the first time you use the Play Store. Now, once you want to decide that you want to get an app, there's 2 ways. You can either browse or search. In the Apple App Store, you will see a menu like what you see at the bottom of this screenshot where it says Today and Games and Apps. All 3 of those will let you browse, and they will have recommended apps and categories of apps, so you can just browse. Very often, though, I know I am looking for a particular app because I read about it or somebody told me about it. For that, you need search. On the Android, same thing. They're just in slightly different places. You can browse by clicking on the For You or the top charts or the categories. And to search, you click up in the search bar that's at the top, like with every Google app. Are they free or not? Well, there's actually a third possibility. And on the Apple App Store, you see this little button to the right where it says Get. That means it's free. And that's where you click to get it. If you see a dollar amount, then clicking there means you want to buy it. If you see this little cloud with a down arrow, that means it may have been free originally, or it may have been a charge, but you previously installed it. So there will be no charge this time around. That's what the little cloud, it's in your account in the cloud, and all you have to do is download it, install it. And then if you see that word open, it means it's already on the phone. Dummy, you don't need to go get this app. You already have it. Notice the fine print under Get. It says in-app purchases. Does that bother you? Do you get them when it says in-app purchases?
If it's free, they have to pay for it somehow. And many times that's by adding things into it. So if it doesn't cost you up front, then you're going to have to pay for it either by seeing ads or by in-app purchases.
Yeah, so it means you install it for no charge.
Right.
but then they offer you things to pay for once you're using the app. That's what in-app purchases mean. And for the Android, you have the same things. It just looks different. You have to actually click into an app to see the button to get it. And if there's a dollar amount, it means you have to pay for it. If it just says install, that means it's free. But notice under that install, it says contains ads as well as in-app purchases. And there is a way to see all your previously installed apps. In Android, you click the 3-line menu and then My Apps and Library, and we will show you that. It's really important to get the good apps, though. Don't just go getting anything. So you need to read the description, do your homework. When you click through to an app, there's all sorts of information, and you often see just the star rating, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star. But in addition to the rating,
there are going to be some reviews.
And you need to know how many reviews went into that rating.
Right. I always say, if there's only 5 reviews or 5 5-star ratings and it's a brand new, not many downloads, then those ratings are probably done by the developer and his or her family. What do you think?
So a 5-star rating with 3 reviews is nowhere near as valuable to me as a 4-star rating with 2,000 reviews.
That makes a lot of sense.
So pay attention to that. And read some of the reviews. Make sure to note the publisher. Sometimes people tell me that they got a Google Photos app and it doesn't do what I say it does. Well, when they actually showed me the app, I said, that's not the one by Google.
It's somebody else's, but it has the same name, and it might even look the same with the same type of logo. But if it doesn't say it's by Google in that case, then it's not the right one.
And I also say to note the date it was last updated.
That can be important.
Yeah. And you can always uninstall, so go ahead and try one if you think you might like it and know how to uninstall.
Another key there, though, is if somebody you trust has given you the recommendation for an app, that's usually a pretty good indication. And if they're using it, you can ask them about it. And if it's bad, you can blame them.
Okay. Then I'm going to do a little demo. First, I'm going to do on the iPhone to browse for an app and read the info. And I'll show you how to change the settings so that you don't need to have the password for free apps. And I'll install it. I'll search for an app and view previously owned apps. So let's go to the iPhone.
I see what you've done there.
Oh, that was me. I thought it was, okay. Thank you.
You're
yes,
welcome.
That's much better. All right. So on the iPhone, there it is, the App Store, the blue with the A. And when you first go, there's this menu down at the bottom, Today, Games, Apps, Updates. Updates was a whole other episode that we did. And search. So browsing would be in Today. You would just scroll down. And my eye was caught by something about Halloween. I think maybe it was over in the apps section. Yes, too cute to spook. And there. This one that says Happy Halloween. AR Spotlight. AR means augmented reality. So if I want to read more about it, if I want to just get it, you tap right there. But no, you should read about it first. So you tap on it, and now you have this information allowing people to experience advanced augmented reality, and tap where it says more. Read through all the features, see if it is something you want. And then version history is where I see that it was updated 2 weeks ago. That gives me a good comfort feeling that it's a current app. And if I scroll down to the bottom, it's first started 1 year ago. So same thing. You don't want to get one that was just arrived.
Probably.
Sometimes it takes a while for them to find the bad one. So if it's been there a year and it was updated 2 weeks ago and it has 4.6 stars with 1.37 thousand ratings in that, I think it's probably worthy and I will get it. And it says, okay, is this your Apple ID account? Yes, I tap install and it needs my password. Why does it need a password when it's a free app? I don't have to pay anything. So before I'm going to back out of here and show you where to change that setting. In settings, under iTunes and App Store, and password settings. This is the default. For free downloads, it requires a password.
That seems silly.
I will say no. But in order to turn off that,
you have to know your
password. I have to know my password, but at least I'll only have to know it this once.
Okay. You don't have to hide it if I change.
Okay, well, that's all right. So I have now told it.
Everybody get that password?
That I don't need a password. And now this one, even if I have to pay for a app, I can tell it I might get 2 or 3 apps and don't ask me the second and the third time. So only require after 15 minutes. So I have now changed that setting and let's see if it lets me in. So now I say get. I've already done my studies, install, and done. It's worked and it got the message that I wanted installed. Now it is working on it. That circle needs to complete before you know the app is really done. All right. Now I want to search for an app. A couple of episodes ago, we had our friends from Techno RV on, and they recommended an app that I said, oh, I do want to get that, and I haven't done it yet. And it is called Google Analytics. So, and what it does is it watches the activity on your website to see how you're doing. So I want to just find that. I don't need to browse. Google Analytics. And search. And there it is. And I need to make sure I'm on the right one. So I still want to tap on it to get more information. I love screenshots. You can look at the screenshots. It has 4.7 stars with 2.1 thousand ratings. And it is by Google Inc. There's where the developer is. And I can read some reviews. And I want to see the version history. It was updated 3 weeks ago. And it's been around for 4 years. Okay, this is the one I want. Back and get. And install. And I don't need to put in my password because there's no payment involved. And it's working on it. It's almost done. And the last thing I want to show you while I'm on the Apple is how do you find all of the past apps that you've ever downloaded that may not be on this phone anymore. You do that with the little icon for your account, your face up in the upper right-hand corner, and purchased. That's what they call it. Even if an app was free, if you installed it, it's referred to as a purchase. So here it has, there's the 2 that I just did. Here's one that is on my phone. Here's one that I downloaded at some time in the past. It's not on my phone now. That's what the cloud with the down arrow means. So that's where you can, if you're trying to say, what was, I used to have an app that did such and such, you can scroll through here. Okay. Now on to Android. And same thing, we're going to browse for an app, read the info, get a free one, and install it, and then search for one. So here we go. And it's all the same idea. In fact, every new version of Android and new version of iPhone, they seem to be getting closer and closer.
They sure do.
Yeah. And I mean, learning iPhone is helping me with new Android devices. Anyway, it's the Play Store right there. The triangle, Play Store. And this is the main menu. And I'm going to browse for you, or actually, I'm going to go to categories. All sorts of categories here. How about entertainment? I'm looking for something Halloween-ish. And I saw some Halloween pics in here earlier. Where was that? Maybe it was just under top charts. Right. Nope. Must have been for you. Of course, the screens are different every time you go in there, right? There we go. Halloween pics. Let's see if there's something fun to do in here. Discover more. Chills and thrills. And Zombies Run. I looked at this. I said, ooh, that might be kind of fun. It's supposed to get you motivated to go for a run and give you zombie stories. I am not going to just install, though, before I check the more info, right?
Always read more.
Read more. And this one, there's a lot to read, but all the way down at the bottom is the updated on September 18, 2018. And the developer is zombiesrungame.com, so I could go to that website and look them up if I wanted to. And it does have 4.3 stars with 17,000 reviews. So, okay, I'm going to install. Ooh, this app is very large. I'd rather not install a very large app right now. So let's see. How about stretching exercises? I'm just gonna skip it, and you get the idea. Now, there's a specific, in fact, I'll steal a little bit of Jim's thunder for his app of the week, is a different camera. Let's say that your phone's camera doesn't have a lot of features. Well, you can search for camera apps.
Yeah, we ran across this just a couple of weeks ago when we were doing our hands-on class. We had all sorts of different Androids in the class. When we separate out the iPhone's cameras and the Android cameras, it's easier to do the iPhones because they're very similar. But all the different apps that come with Androids make it very confusing. So some people don't have all the features.
Yeah, someday if we really decide that we really like one of these camera apps, we'll just make everybody download that before we do a class.
Right.
That would be nice.
But then you have to have the app available on both platforms. This Camera MX that we're going to do here is only for Androids.
So look at all these. There's a ton. You do not have to settle for the camera app that came with your phone. And I look here, I say, oh, Camera Zoom FX. I actually used that at some time in the past. It says that I have purchased it. Let me review what this is. And I go to read more. And all sorts of interesting features in here. Looks great. But if I go all the way down, updated April 6, 2017.
That's a little over a year old.
That's a bit of a red flag to me. So no, the one that Jim is going to talk about is the Camera MX. And I can read more in here. I can go all the way down. It was updated on October 18, 2018. Pretty good. So let's go ahead and get that one. And Camera MX install. Now, Google automatically, it never asks for a password for downloading something free. Now, the very first time you use the Play Store, you will need to know your password. But from then on, until you buy one, you don't need to know your password. And to buy one, you do have to have a credit card installed with your account. Okay. Now, so that is now installed on my device, and I'll show you that right there is on the device. Allow, and allow. So now I can take photos and video using Camera MX instead of the camera that came with the phone. One last thing to show you before we leave the Play Store, and that is how to see all the past apps you have ever downloaded. And in here, it is on the menu and My Apps and Games. And they are in 3 different categories: updates, installed, and library. So this first screen tells you all the apps. I don't use this particular phone very much. Every single app needs to be updated. Installed means show me all the ones that are on the phone. But library shows me everything I have ever bought or installed. And it may or may not be on the phone anymore. So here is where you can look through your history of every app you've ever gotten. Okay. That is the lesson on installing.
Okay.
Any questions?
Yeah, there have been a couple there. Let's see. Warren says, some poorly written apps can drain your battery. If you see this happening, look at your last installed apps.
Good point. Right. So you can go to that, all of my apps, and the most recent installed ones were on the top.
Yeah. And Apple family sharing, one buys and all share.
Yeah.
So Gary says, good info on app install, use and install. Thanks. Learned a few new details. Are you open for questions about maps? Sure. We're open for anything. What do you got?
All right. Well, while he's coming up with his questions about maps, I have 2 more points about apps, and that is organizing and uninstalling. So by organizing, I mean moving your icons around by dragging them and making folders of icons. And you can do that on both Apple and Android. And on Android, there's one other little issue, and that is that home screen icons are just shortcuts. Your apps are in the all apps. And what does that mean? And I'm going to show you. And then uninstall. Why might you need to uninstall? For 2 reasons. Either you don't like the app, it doesn't do what you want it to do, or as Warren mentioned, it's bad. It uses up a lot of battery or something. Or you need the space. Your phone's getting full. You can't afford the space for that app. And on the Apple, you long press until all the icons wiggle and tap the X. Don't see an X?
Well, that might mean that you can't uninstall
You can't
it.
uninstall it, yeah. And on the Android, it's also a long press, but you have the choice of removing just the icon from your home screen or uninstalling. So, iPhone demo. So here we are on the iPhone, and the app I installed, what did I install in this? The Leo AR camera, that augmented reality that had to do with Halloween, is right here. I say I really want to try using that, so I need to put it on my first screen. You know, I have lots of screens of apps, and I have some space on my first screen. What you do is you long press until it's kind of attached to your finger. You feel a little vibration when it gets there. And then you just hold on to it, bump against the left edge until you move to that screen. When you have it where you want it, let go. And then to stop them all from wiggling, you press the home button. Now, one little trick, if you have one of the phones like mine that does something different when you hard press, then you got to be careful. To long press means touch and just very lightly hold it there, because when you press hard, it does something else. Now, if I want to put that into a folder, let's say I want to combine this AR camera with Google Photos, you would touch and hold and then drag one on top of the other, and that makes a folder. If I change my mind, I want it out of there, I open the folder, touch and hold, drag it down. Okay. Now, if I play with that app a while and decide, you know, I really don't care for it, I want to uninstall it, touch and hold until the X appears. Now, notice the things that don't have an X. The phone doesn't have an X.
Yeah, you don't want to uninstall that.
It says you can't uninstall that. But if it has an X, you tap it. Deleting this app will also delete its data. So it is gone. It is uninstalled from this phone. And that's iPhone. Now, Android. And there's different Androids. So same thing. This is, what did I install on here? I installed that Camera MX. And let's say I want to try using that instead of the normal camera all the time. So I want to put it on the first screen. This works just the same as the iPhone. Touch and hold until it's kind of attached to my finger. Now I can bump over against the left side until it moves. When I get to the first screen, I can let go. I could even, see, here's the main camera. I could put it down on this, I always forget what that's called. Anyway, on that bar that's always there. There. Now the camera will be there regardless of what screen I'm on. Now, making a folder, that's what's different on different versions of Android phones. Let's say I want to put that camera and that camera together in a folder. On this one, it's the same thing. I just drag one icon on top of another. But on this phone, Samsung, if I try to drag one icon on top of another, it says no. But notice what's showing up at the top. There's a button up there that says Create Folder. So that means you touch and hold on an icon and create folder. Now I can say camera stuff. Stuff is my favorite technical word. And I can either tap plus now and add other apps to it, like that camera, and done. Or once it's made, I can drag an icon into that folder, no problem. So it's just slightly different. And last is to uninstall an app. So let's say I want to uninstall this Files Go app. And I'm just picking one from any screen. And when I touch and hold on it, there's remove up at the top. I drag till remove gets red and let go. But has that uninstalled it from the phone?
No, it's just taking it off of one of your home screens.
Yeah, on most Androids, not all, but on most Androids, what you see on your home screen is just a shortcut. So how do you get to your list of all apps? It's also known as your app drawer. And it's this little series of 9 dots here, this grid. And it might be a different icon on yours as well. So what did I just delete? Files Go. This is in alphabetical order. And there's the Files Go. So it's not gone from the phone. And to put it back on the home screen, you long press and drop it off. Now, just to, if perchance you have an LG, I'm not sure if this is the case with all LGs, but with this little cheapy one that I got, if you uninstall an app, there is no all apps. There is no all apps. It's very iPhone-like. If you uninstall an app, it's uninstalled, but it goes into this little uninstalled apps area, and you can get it back within 24 hours. But after that, then it's just gone. You have to reinstall. So Android phones can be a little bit different. You have to explore on your particular device. But that's how it works in general.
Okay, I like it. Ready for an app of the week?
Or questions?
Yeah, let's see what we got here. All right, Gary says, I have a Samsung S9. When using Google Maps on phone and computer, I have figured out how to save starred places, but I have trouble deleting the starred places when I want to clean up my map.
Well, I hear you. So when you star place on Google Maps, you end up with a map with all these stars all over the place. If you want to unstar them, you do just that. You have to open it up and tap where the star is gold, and it will unstar it. But there's also, on the mobile version of when you go to the 3-line menu and My Places or Your Places and the saved places, I think on that, you can tell it just don't show. Don't show that whole layer if you want to clean up.
Okay. Let's see. Bill says, finally got his notebook and monitor going again. We're not nearly as impressive running on just a tablet.
We want to be on the big screen.
Yeah, we need to be on the big screen. And he says, we get warnings that other apps may not work when we uninstall. What's that all about? So you get this message, you're uninstalling something, and a message pops up, says, if you uninstall this, other things might not work as they're supposed to.
Well,
yeah.
Usually That's from things like Verizon. Verizon has a whole set of apps
Okay.
and they want you to use them all, or Samsung, a whole set. Usually those are ones that can't be uninstalled, but you can disable them. And you might get that message, disabling this means that some others won't work. Usually I ignore it. I go ahead and uninstall. If perchance you notice something that is related messing up, you can reinstall it again. I personally have never seen a problem.
Right.
You?
I've seen that message, but
Yeah.
I've never had it, as far as I'm concerned, I've never seen it really affect what was going on with my. All right. Let's see. Is Gary's question about the star? Gary's question about the star the same as we get on our car map?
Our car map.
That would probably be a dedicated GPS, like a TomTom or a Garmin or a
No, I'm talking specifically about Google Maps.
Google Maps
app.
Once the star is there, it stays until we turn the car off. Maybe this would be a subject for another day. If you're talking Google Maps, then absolutely it could be a subject. If you're talking about a dedicated GPS device that you might have in your car, like a Garmin or a Rand McNally or a TomTom, no, we're not going to do that. How's that?
And I think maybe I have a video on if you look in geeksontour.com tutorial videos and saved places, or just search for Google Maps saved places. If I find it, I'll put it in the notes, in the show notes. Yeah.
Well, cool. All right, on to our app of the week. As Chris already said, it's going to be Camera MX, free photo and video camera. And it is pretty cool. You know, there were some cameras in our hands-on class last couple of weeks ago where they just didn't have the features that other people with other Androids had, and we were trying to figure it out, and we looked through all the settings, and there were very few settings. So we chose this Camera MX. I had it on my phone a while back, and then I took it off, but I put it back on because it has different effects there. Next level video recording. It just has a much better video camera than the one that came on this particular phone app, camera app. It has all the essential camera features that everybody has, and it has some enhanced camera features too that not all cameras have. Live shots.
That's the one I love.
Right. Live photos for Android. It's been around for Apple for quite some time now, but you can do the same thing now with an Android. And a shoot the pass burst mode, so you can actually have it take like a live photo, but you can go back and choose a particular frame that has everybody's eyes open or everybody's smiling and that kind of thing. It has effects and filters that you can add right to it while you're shooting, even videos. And it has some pretty good photo and video editing right in there. So you can slow motion highlights. You can slow your motion down. It works pretty much just like the Apple slow-mo on the Apple video, but live filters, and you can put stuff on it right when you're shooting. You can get creative. There's all kinds of different filters in there. And editing has all of the basic edits. But you can't put any text on there with this app. Not that I could find anyway.
Well, there's lots of other ways to do that.
Lots of other ways, and what do we recommend? Snapseed.
But what I really, I do want to play with this Camera MX, because I plan on my new phone being an Android again.
Yeah.
But I've gotten really accustomed to the iPhone, and that live photo and being able to pick a frame where everybody's eyes were open or where the action is just at the right point.
Right.
I really, really like. And very few Androids have that. But with this Camera MX, they will.
Pretty cool. I don't see any more questions, so let's go on. We want you to see our website, geeksontour.com. That way you can find out whatever's new right from the home page. We want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search for Geeks on Tour when you're on YouTube and you'll find us. Make sure you subscribe and click on that little bell to be notified when we go live. Well, have you learned something? Yeah, I do have a couple of other questions. Have you done a tutorial on Apple Live Photo?
Yes.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah. If you go to geeksontour.com, tutorial videos, and search for live, you will find it. And you know what I mean by search? On a page, Control F.
And we've done a tip on that.
Tip on that, yeah. Yep.
Okay. What is the name of the store where you get apps? On the Apple iOS?
It's the App Store.
And on Androids?
It's the Play Store, the Google Play Store.
True or false? You will always be asked for your password before an app installs.
False. Unless you're on an iPhone and you've never changed the setting. There's a setting for that.
There's a setting. Apps can cost money, be free, or include what?
Well, if they're free, they probably always will have ads. But the thing I'm getting at is in-app purchases. So meaning once you install a free app, you will be offered other things to pay for.
All right, if you paid for an app while using an old phone, when you get a new phone and want that app, there will be no charge as long as what?
As long as you're using the same account, the same
Accounts are
username
key.
and password. Do not change when you change your phone.
On your Apple iOS device, to uninstall apps, you long press until the icons wiggle, then tap the X to remove. True or false? When the icon disappears, the app is uninstalled from the device?
True.
Why do some apps not show an X?
Because you're not allowed to uninstall them.
Apple makes it very clear which ones you can uninstall or not. On your Android device, you can remove an icon from the screen without uninstalling the app. Then, to open the app, go to A, Settings, Application Manager, B, All Apps icon, also known as the drawer, or C, Search.
B, the All Apps icon.
Very cool. Well, Chris, what's the web page that lists all of our weekly shows?
Geeksontour.com, and the menu item is weekly class.
Right? And what's the web page that lists all of our recent newsletters?
Geeksontour.com, and the menu item is blogs and news. We have all the archives, every monthly newsletter for the last 10 years.
And we should have another newsletter going out
Coming out this week.
So why do people pay $58 a year to join Geeks on Tour?
Just because we ask them to.
They do that. We ask for money.
Yeah, we're all powerful. Well, but they like technology and they like to learn and they want to be able to ask us questions on the Q&A page. You must be a member for that. And to gain access to hundreds of our tutorial videos, learning guides, and ebooks. All our ebooks are free to members. And to get the written show notes from all of these shows, that's becoming the most valuable part, I think.
Right. And to say thank you for all the free training they get from us. geeksontour.com/join now. Next time, will we have a live show next week?
Nope.
Yeah, Chris is going to be in California at Google Google's flying her out to the Google Product Experts Conference.
My
and
yearly.
I'm staying home.
Yeah, he's tired. He's not gonna. But I am really looking forward to this one. I have gone to the Google Product Expert Conference for the last 2 years, but they've just been North America. This year, it's product experts from all over the world.
Cool.
So we're gonna. Oh, you're gonna miss seeing Paolo and Alex,
Right.
who we met in person over in our Europe trip a
That's
couple years
okay.
ago.
Maybe you can do a Facebook Live and we can.
Maybe.
Yeah, we could do something like that. That sounds like
And I'll be
fun.
meeting with the Google Photos development team and hearing all about new stuff.
Telling them what needs to
And
be
giving
done.
them my ideas. Yeah.
All right. So next live show topic, we had somebody suggest using phones to make PDFs.
I thought that was a pretty good topic.
Yeah, we might do that unless Chris has something that's on the burner. If you have an idea for a topic, let us know. Leave a comment on this YouTube video or on our webpage, or if you have a suggestion, just go ahead and put it anywhere you can find us and we might answer you. All right. So let's see. Thanks. I learned a lot. Email us if you go live, Chris.
If I go live, it'll probably be more spur of the moment. It'll be up to you if you want to put it out publicly.
Well, that's it for this episode number 155 of What Does This Button Do? I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
And we are Geeks on Tour. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you sometime soon.
Keep pushing those buttons.
Don't touch that button. What does that button do? What are you doing there?
Let's try this one.
Don't touch that button.